welcome all the learners and the students here in the next session of this particular paper. The today's lecture on the base is based on community construct, sociological and sociological perspective, as well as the social construct. So here the term social construct and community construct refer to the different concepts. Here in this lecture you are going to study. Although they are related. So social construct is an idea or concept that has been created and accepted by society. It exists because people agree on it, right? So around the gender, maybe that the kind of the more value system attached to the gender, so people agree on it, even if it does not have a physical presence, like race, gender, roles, money, and all. So these constructs shape our understanding of reality and influences social norms, behavior, and institutions altogether. Community construct here, again, we are going to discuss in detail actually. So it refers to the specific ideas, practices, norms that develop within a particular community. This can include shared values, traditions, and social dynamics unique to the group. So that is about the community, overall the community construct. What are the ideas and general values and tradition of particular community that may vary from one community to another community. And social construct is about the gender, which is common to approximately all kind of the community, the kind of expectation, the kind of the behavior being expected from them, roles from expected from them, right? So this is what that is the social construct. And community construct is having the particularly the community's own values, traditions, shared and then social dynamics and all. And that is very unique to that community. What it may be influenced by broader social construct. A community construct is more localized and tailored to the experience and belief to its member. Social construct can influence community constructs, definitely, but community construct can also challenge or interpret broader social construct based on the local context. For example, that maybe if I take the example of gender perspective again, so social construct of around the gender may vary from the tribal community to the rural community to the urban community. Where in urban communities, within urban communities, there are a lot of the differentiation again. So if I'm talking about the well-educated women, so she's out of their home, she can work. Same, but if you go into the rural areas, that same women is mainly not allowed to come outside the home, and they are allowed to work in agricultural lands, but in many courses they are not allowed to come out, at least in front of their brother-in-laws and then any elderly people of their villages. But that I have not found among the tribals so much that kind of the kind of the rules and regulation around the this particular around the women as a gender. So this is what the difference as a gender, a kind of local a social construct is about the common belief system around particular aspect, and the community construct may vary from community to community. I hope you understand the basic idea of community construct and social construct. Let's discuss in detail the first about the community construct and then social construct. So community construct from the sociological perspective, the viewpoint emphasizes how community dynamics impact individual behavior. So community dynamics means their interdependence, their structure, their process and all, how that going to affect the individual's behavior, attitudes and connections within a community construct. It promotes understanding how elements like financial position, race, gender and access to community resources affect people's lives by looking beyond their immediate surroundings. So particularly in this topic, we are going to discuss few very important sociologists like the Ferdinand Tonnies. He talked about the, and then Emile Durkheim, Newby defined community as a fixed locality, quality of relationship, and as a social system. And then we also going to discuss about the social system from the AGIL model. So let's discuss one by one. So as Ferdinand Tonnies, a German sociologist who talked about this Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft in his, the kind of the relationship has been emerged from simpler to the complex community. So he actually given the two terms, that the Gemeinschaft and the Gesellschaft, right? He considered relationship characterizing, actually characterizing the communities, the kind of relationship between the members within the community characterize the community, right? Or sorry, give the the kind of the shape of to the community. So that actually construct the community. So the German word Gemeinschaft means community in English, whereas the German word Gemeinschaft means society. So the concept of Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft illustrate the spectrum of community construct from from intimate, close-knit relationship to more formal, individualistic interactions. Recognizing these constructs help in understanding how different communities functions and respond to social challenges, shaping social policies and practices accordingly. Moving ahead, let's discuss one by one to the Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. Usually, people in the simple communities like in villages, mohallas are known to each other from generations and are emotionally connected to each other. And so we could say that they have a strong social capital usually and having more we feeling. Right. So in the rural or particularly in the communities like the rural community or peasant communities, as the Gemeinschaft talks about, where the personal relationship are defined, regulated on the basis of traditional social rules. People have simple and direct face-to-face relationship based on based on this Vasenville, that is means natural will. That is, by socialization or by getting socialized into that community, this will is coming very naturally. So naturally interaction with each other, that is very natural and spontaneous, right? Rising emotion and expression of sentiments. People are recognizing and accepted for their innate qualities. This sort of human relationship is reflects in families, small groups, and traditional communities. It means whatever you are, so that they are usually communities are going to accept. But in a complex communities, it's very difficult. You have to suit to the demands of the community. In the Gesellschaft, is in contrast to the Gemeinschaft, here it is about the rational will. Means it's typified by modern cosmopolitan societies with their government, bureaucracy, and large industrial organization. It's about the impersonal and formal social relationship inherent in modern industrialized societies. Relationships are built on individual self-interest rather than emotional bonds as in the simpler communities. So they have the certain characteristic, like they have interpersonal, impersonal relationship, diverse interest, formal social structure, individualism is so high. So for example, like urban areas or professional organization, even in big companies or big industries, there are professional organizations. So in such organizations, so everything is so much formalized. Division of labor is so much formalized and under certain control. And this interest of the individual supersede the interest of the group. Right, the interest of the individual supersede the interest of the group. This is again very important characteristic of the Gesellschaft. Let's moving ahead. So what are the implications of community construction of these Tonnies ideology and explanation regarding the community? So social support, conflict resolution, cultural preservation versus change. Concept of Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft illustrate the spectrum of community construct from intimate, close relationship to more formal, individualistic relationship, individualistic societies, where social support in Gemeinschaft offers emotional support, whereas Gesellschaft may lack such deep relationship. Conflict resolution, if you talk about in Gemeinschaft, conflicts are frequently addressed through discussions and personal interactions, whereas in Gesellschaft, formal structures like judicial systems may be necessary to control. Right, so control is more formal here as compared to Gemeinschaft, where the control is somehow informal. Cultural preservation versus change. Gemeinschaft community may reject change to maintain traditions because the traditional communities, if you take the example of tribal communities, so they actually love their traditions, so they don't want to leave that, they want to retain that. Whereas Gesellschaft, you take the example of urban cities or the metropolitan cities, they always embrace change and diversity, and they actually reflect and they actually accept more smartly, and they actually being influenced by the new kind of the changes they have. Okay, so let's moving ahead. Next, sociologists who talk about the community construct from the two perspective, and explaining the community on the basis of the solidarity or the relationship. Two kind of the solidarity he talked about, this Emile Durkheim, who was a French sociologist, very famous. Emile Durkheim characterized two categories of social solidarity: organic and mechanical solidarity, in his very famous book, The Division of Labor and Society, in the year 1893, centuries back. When considering mechanical and organic solidarity in the context of community construct, Durkheim's ideas provide a framework for understanding how different communities maintain social cohesion and integrate individual based on their structure and complexities. So, what are these? Let's discuss in detail. So, mechanical solidarity is what? So, Emile Durkheim's concept of mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity provide valuable insight into community construct and the social cohesion that binds individuals together in different types of societies. Maybe the community could be a mechanical solidarity, or would follow, or is actually following the organic kind of the solidarity, but both are important in their own respective aspects. So key features like mechanical solidarity, they are very simple, and uniformity is there. So in communities characterized by mechanical solidarity, members tend to have similar roles and responsibilities, often centered around family, religion, and shared customs. Collective consciousness is there. Everyone is aware about that they belong to that community, and they are connected through certain kind of the belief system and moral and values of that community. Social norms is actually the reason behind their cohesion, that maintained through enforcement of common norms and values, often resulting in a strong sense of obligation towards the group and towards the community. Punitive justice. Deviance is often addressed through punitive measures, reinforcing conformity and adherence to societal norms. So, and next, if I take the example of this mechanical solidarity, so definitely if, we can, visualize the Indian villages here so well, because small villages or tribal societies where everyone knows each other and share similar lifestyles and belief system. And even the religious communities group with a strong collective, identity based on shared faith and practices, leading to unified behavior and expectation. Particularly if I say that the smaller religious communities, like the communities in India, like Parsi communities, Boras communities, they are smaller in number, so they are more united to each other. So this is what they actually having being there in some metro cities, some big cities like in Gujarat and Maharashtra, both Parsis, and if you take the example of Boras, but they have all those characteristics, majority having the mechanical solidarity, because they have face-to-face interaction, simplicity and uniformity, collective consciousness, and they, all these characteristics of the mechanical solidarity very much suited to those communities. Coming to the organic solidarity, which is totally different from mechanical solidarity. Rather, we cannot say they're different, rather it's like it's a moving from mechanical to organic as we move from simple to complex. This is the nature, law of nature, right? So organic solidarity refers to the social cohesion that emerges in more complex modern societies where individuals have specialized roles and interdependent relationship. This type of solidarity is characterized of larger heterogeneous communities like urban areas. So key, if you look into the characteristic of organic solidarity, that is they are more complex and specialization has been there. The relationship is based on formal interdependence. People rely on one another for different skills and services, like plumbers, and then any kind of the mechanics, and for buying you seek some kind of the bigger shop, something like that. So leading to a web of interconnections that bind society together. That's so important. Individual rights, where greater emphasis is placed on individual rights and freedom, reflecting a recognition of diverse identities and roles within the community. Because in the more complex communities, like in the where organic solidarity is there, where individual rights is has to be given, is because it's that kind of the community is very heterogeneous, belonging to the members from the very diverse field, from the different ethnicity, from different religion and all. So individually, they have their own ways and their own values system, their way of living. So it's very important in such community to respect others, attitudes, beliefs, and their own value system. So like any industrialized societies are the example of organic solidarity. So implication for community construction here of the Durkheim is that says that actually the Durkheim's concept of mechanical and organic solidarity provides the framework for understanding different communities construct then the nature of social ties in varying social contexts. By examining how these forms of solidarity operates, we gain insight into the dynamics of social cohesion and the ways communities can navigate change and conflict. Actually, all these sociologists actually talk about and explain the community in their own ways and how these actually constructed the society, and we have to use and visualize these and ideology and philosophy to understand the community, why we are working with the community. So according to Tonnies, industrialization and urbanization shifted social relationship from Gemeinschaft, that is close-knit groups, to Gesellschaft, more impersonal interaction. This shift indicates that civilization is transcend, means emerging from being bound by shared ideals to being organized around a specialized division of labor. So Tonnies attributed this shift to individual attitudes and personalities, but Durkheim saw the division of labor is the main. We all know that how Emile Durkheim is talk about that, and specialization as the primary drivers of the development, as said by concluded by Siddiqui, Ishwai Siddiqui, renowned social worker. So moving ahead, the implication. Next is about the another way we could define the community construct by Howard Newby. These aspects of communities are interrelated, as he defined is about community as a fixed locality. We have discussed so much in detail about the geographical area. As the quality of relationship, we have also discussed the split of community as a social system, a set of social system. That is again a very important aspect to define any community, or not just to define the community, but to understand the dynamics of any community. So these aspects of communities are so much interrelated, be it fixed locality, quality of relationship, or social system. If any of the people living in particular geographical area, they definitely they have developed, they have shared the experiences that we have already discussed in the last lecture. So they are living in the fixed locality, they shared certain experiences. Because of these experiences, they have developed a quality of relationship and they develop a bond, stronger bond. And so if all such things is there, so as a community has been emerged as a strong social system where every relationship is working at their own best way or best manner, right? So just moving ahead. So implication of these. Implication of this theory of Norbert Newby is about definition of community, fixed locality, quality of relationship, and social system he has talked about have important implication for social work practices, how each other can be implied. Like fixed locality, if you take the example of fixed locality, if you take in the community as a fixed locality, so we have to do the need assessment. What are the needs of that community? Maybe the physical need or the need of that area, that the community members, the needs of the community members, the need of the different institutions there. So accordingly, you develop the program. If you are usually you understand the programs, you understand the needs of that community. So it and then it's about the geographic mobilization. It is about in emergencies or crisis, social workers can mobilize resources and support based on the geographical layout of that community, how much, the kind of the river they have, the kind of different resources available, man-made or natural, ensuring timely and effective responses. So for that reason, at the very end of this particular paper, at the end of this program, we are also going to discuss some very important tools and techniques which actually help you out in identifying the different needs of the community and to understand the community's perspective. So social resource mapping and the need assessment through Chapati diagram meaning. So that we are going to discuss in detail in the later classes. So quality of relationship. This first is about the fixed locality. Second is about the quality of relationship. So we have again discussed a lot in length and breadth about the quality of relationship. If a community is having a having a good trust between each other, so that gives a positive kind of the results. So the fostering positive relationship among community members enhance trust and cooperation. Social workers can facilitate community building activities that strengthen bonds and create a sense of belonging. That's so important for the sustenance and the further development and the further growth of any community and the further successful intervention by the community worker. Cultural competence means this is again the part very important. Understanding the quality of relationship within the community allows social workers to engage in culturally sensitive practices that respect local customs and values. Again, it's very important. This is one of the very important value of the social worker, to respect the cultural needs and demands of that particular area. So we have to do, and we have to give respect. We have to give respect to our profession, we also have to give respect to, this is what our ethical responsibility and obligation to, we have always go according to the cultural demands and needs of that community. Then social system, that is about the understanding dynamics, collaboration with the organization, and policy advocacy. This is we are going to discuss in detail in the coming session. I mean, once we will discuss about the social work perspective for the community construct. The last one of this explanation of the community as a community construct, AGIL model is very interesting. I feel that I should mention this. AGIL, particularly I do like it to understand the overall dynamics of any community, or to understand the construct of any community. So AGIL is a concept introduced by sociologist Talcott Parsons to describe the functions necessary for the survival and adaptation of any social system. So Talcott Parsons AGIL paradigm, developed in the 1950s, is a framework for understanding the functional requirement that any system, especially social system like community, must fulfill in order to maintain stability and social order. It consists of 4 basic functions that every society or community needs to address or sustain itself. Each of these functions is critical for maintaining cohesion, adapting to change, and preserving the community's structure over time. We applied to the community construct. Parsons' AGIL model helps to explain how communities organize themselves, meet their needs, and maintain internal order. Like these 4 are function of any community or functional paradigm as. First is adaptation, then goal attainment, then integration and latency. That is like AGIL model, AGIL. Moving ahead, what is this AGIL model or AGIL model? So its first thing is about the adaptation. So just like living organisms, societies must adapt to their environment to survive. This includes economic and technological adjustment. Social worker can help communities to adapt to social changes or crises, such as any kind of economic shift or natural disaster, for the survival of any community. It is very important function. Right? Adaptation, whatever the supra system or the system demands, one subsystem need to adapt. Otherwise, they are not going to survive further. Then goal attainment. Every society has certain goals, such as education and security, right? So open a school and to give the education to their coming generation. And if the community is in any community which is near to any forest, the security is one of their concerns. So to reach these goals, societies establish roles and institutions, setting objectives and mobilize efforts to reach them. Social worker can assist individuals and groups in setting and achieving personal and collective goals, such as improving in mental health or accessing resources, facilitating government programs, etc., or also facilitating to some organizations which are working in particularly on those issues and problems. Integration is what? Integration is a key where the societies needs laws and values to bind individuals together. Also known as the pattern maintenance, this is about preserving the core values and norms of society, ensuring its continued existence. Social workers promote collaboration among different service providers and community. So integration of different units is important for the survival of any community. Integration of different institutions and integration of different services and integration of every unit of the community is important for adaptation, for goal attainment, and for the pattern maintenance, right? The last one is about the latency or the pattern maintenance. It is what? Latency, it's about the system must maintain its cultural pattern and values over time. This includes socializing members and ensuring that values and norms are upheld. See, pattern maintenance and adaptations are opposite to each other, right? Adaptation means you have to adapt the new things, or maybe if you're in some problem, you have to adapt to survive. And pattern maintenance means whatever the older things or whatever the value system of that community or anything or the resources they have to maintain that. They have to preserve that. So adaptation is asking for something new, and preservation and pattern maintenance talking about to keeping the earlier things intact. So this is, but making a balance between adaptation and pattern maintenance or pattern preservation or latency is so important, and that needs a kind of sometime a kind of the professional assistance, and sometimes it has been emerged very naturally by the community itself. So depending upon again the kind of bond, the interdependence, the kind of the resources they have. So social constructionism, now, I mean, we have discussed about the community construct. Let's talk about the social constructionism or social construct. It is one of the most important contribution of social construction is the idea that reality is the result of social process. This notion widely described by sociologists like Peter Berger and then Thomas Luckman in their work, The Social Construction of Reality, explain how people build their social environment together. According to their arguments, reality does not exist independently of humans, but rather then emerges from social interaction and common understanding. When everyone is accepting certain things, that became the social construct, right? And if I do believe something, it may not be a social construct, but many of others, if they started thinking in the same direction as I do, so then it could be, change or bring a new kind of the construct in the society. So, let's talk about the social constructivism. The first sociologist writing in the tradition of social construction was Mead in 1930 in her book Mind, Self and Society. See, Mind, Self and Society. In itself, it's self-explanatory, right? So Mead created the concept of symbolic interactionalism, which argues that humans construct their own each other's identities through their everyday encounters with each other. Means what is good and what is bad, around certain caste, around certain gender, around certain class, what are their expected behavior, it's all. In other words, the self is created through social interaction. For example, there are certain things we expected from a girl child, and that is not by the from the boy child, and vice versa, right? So this is what the self is created within that social interaction, and while socializing into that, the boys is grown up like that and the girls are grown up like that. But doesn't mean if there's I have actually watched one movie on this gender construction, so where the boys were asked to run like a girl, so they ran totally different way, and the girls were also asked to run like a girl, so they also run very differently. And when it was not like that, and then the producer and the director didn't ask you run like a girl, they just asked run. So the kind of the run by the girl and by the boys independently, so they were totally different. So it is like what it shows that the social construct, the kind and the way the women has to behave. So this is what this happened because of through social interaction, what we see from others. As a woman, I grow, I saw my mother and all, and so I developed that I should be like this. I have to be, pay attention to my children, I have to cook good. So that is what the social, this is what my social construction as a good mother. That could not be, it's very subjective, but it is what the social construction happened, and it's actually develop ourself, our mind by society, right? So social constructionism is a theoretical paradigm in sociology that attempts to explain how social realities are generated, sustained and modified with time. Definitely, it refutes the concept that knowledge and meaning are inherent or objective truths, contending instead that they are the result of social process. According to this viewpoint, realities such as gender, ethnicity, institutions, norms are socially, but through human interactions and collective agreements, it's all developed. Social constructs that formed communities and identities like race and ethnicity, gender roles, social class, marriages and family, community identity. So these all are actually constructed as per the demands and as per the particular community demands, and as the way we actually socialize, right? So race and ethnicity, like in India, race and ethnicity are complex social construct that impact social dynamics and identity. Particular race has to do this, another caste has to do this. So this is what that's already so much imbibed in our overall socialization process, right? And then gender roles, the belief that women are carers and the men are the breadwinners is a social construct that shape family arrangement and professional responsibility. Again, it's not like that it's only a pressure for the women that she has to behave like this, and she has to be good mother, she has to be good daughter, she has to be good in every field. So same way is for the boys as well. So it's also a kind of so much pressure among the boys that they are the bread earners, sorry. And also that boys cannot cry. Why so? It's because of social construct. You can bring changes because the society has been emerged by this way only, right? It could be start from you, it could be start from me. So I mean, this need to, I mean, this whatever the socialization and we that imbibe in our personality, that need to re-socialize or rethink. And then, sorry, first is to desocialize and rethink, and then we have to go with the re-socialization, a new set of social construct that which is more acceptable and which is more rational. So like marriage and family, community identity, all these are around develop some kind of the social construct that may be reality and that may not be reality, right? Nationality also, we love our flags, we have to behave like this, so that is also the social construct. No, I mean, if you I mean, this is what, like, we do believe it with our own, we are socialized into that. We are socialized to respect our nation, we are socialized to respect our flag, we are socialized to respect our the nation's everything. But we need also to socialize, and it's also have need to be constructed in our society, the civic sense, that what how we can clean our environment, how we save our environment, and so on and so forth. So there is again a aspect of whole debate. The cultural norms, disability, youth and aging, consumerism. If you take the example of youth and aging, right? So social construct around age shape expectation and roles for different life stages. Like the older people should behave like this, and then adolescents, they should not be sit among the older people or elderly people's. Their roles is so much of confusion in nature. So every age is having certain demands. So youth, as I mean, again, it's a problematic for them any time for the aging. You should not wear like very colorful clothes and all. But again, this is a social construct. He and she can wear. So this is what I hope you understand the aspect of the social construct. And consumerism. Again, it's a very present day kind of construction. Although consumerism is the since the time immemorial, consumerism was there, market was there, but the present day consumerism is totally different because of the globalization. The markets are bombarding on the full of lot of the products and all, and every day a new kind of the fashion has been emerged because they have to sell their products, and consumers are blindly, they are just going and then just buying the thing. So it is again, you think on the carbon footprinting of yours. You better to buy the thing which has been produced around your own area. This is a very egalitarian and very ideal aspect, but if it has been followed by everyone, so definitely it is going to help to our environment as well as to the small industries. So that believe that personal happiness and social status can be achieved through expensive things, or through consumption, through some brands. Again, it's just a social construct that if you wear the Nike and if you wear some very great brands, I don't remember right now any brand's name. So if you wear that, if you have Apple's mobiles and also iPhone, so you have some status symbol. Again, it's again a social construct, and these all marketing strategies is actually using this social construct and develop the new kind of the social construct. So we can think on this line, right? And again, this social construct also give rise to some problem, and we have to think on this, like poverty. So there's a lot of the stereotypes around that. The poor, if someone is coming in, in shabby kind of the dresses and is not wearing very good clothes, so we don't accept. Usually we don't expect them or accept those person as a good academician. Sometimes we don't accept them as like something is good coming from them. So this is again a kind of the social construct that poor are like this. Right, and they are if you see someone, it's all about stereotyping actually. So social construct plays a significant role in shaping perceptions and responses to various social problems. So it's very important to think on these. So because social construct gives us cultural interpretation, stigma, stereotypes, labeling to certain identity, the access to resources. And so what we as a social worker can do, we have to enhance the advocacy and awareness on certain aspects. Mental health, for taking the example of mental health, so this for example, like schizophrenia, right? So the person who's suffering from the schizophrenia usually been considered as he is possessed and she is possessed, but it is again a kind of mental issue. It could be, you know, treated by some psychologist or psychiatrist, but it's usually a social construct has been, and it's became a kind of taboo still into the in the very traditional kind of society. We are happy and we are you know, lucky that we are living in some, and majority of us are living in the urban areas where it has not been taken as so much as a taboo. We are actually taking help of those, all those counselors and the psychiatrists, but overall mental health and all the kind of the things has been considered still as a taboo and the stereotyping, right? So racism is also, so disability construct that the person is disabled, cannot do this. Immigrations like are typically viewed as the threat to jobs, culture or safety. It has been propagated again by the media in all the Western world that they are threat, immigrants are coming, and so they are threat to jobs, culture or safety, leading to xenophobia and harsh policies. Community attitudes and individual experiences affecting immigrants' integration and well-being. So that's why they're not been so much acculturated or assimilate with the host community. It's very difficult for them, for the immigrants. And same way, sometimes the problem is there, but it's like usual. The problem may be of 2%, but it has been propagated like the 100% or 90%. So this is again a social construct has been formed around certain immigrants, or it's also somehow somewhere of the with the migrants as well. Youth identity construct that I have already discussed, environment and climate change construct. The environmental issues can be framed differently, with some interpreting climate change as scientific and others as a political. It's nothing related to the social, but actually environment and climate change is so much around social construct. As I've already told you, consumerism that is inversely, affected to the environmental. So environmental issues can be framed differently, with some interpreting climate as I've said, that scientific and some it's as a political. So these opposing viewpoints have the potential to affect public policy, business responsibility, and individual behavior towards sustainability. So we have to rethink on this line, right? So finally, I would like to conclude my this lecture with this phrase that communities are dynamic, complex entities according to a sociological perspective on community construction. They serve vital purpose for people and society as a whole, such as fostering unity and many unity, attending to shared needs, and maintaining social order. Knowing the many facets of communities show how actually they are linked to the larger social life structure. Social constructs emphasize that they are foundation to our understanding of the world and shape our behaviors, beliefs, and interaction. These constructs, such as race, gender, and social norms, are not inherent or fixed. Rather, they are created and maintained through social agreements and cultural practices. Recognizing their fluidity allows for critical reflection and potential change, enabling us to challenge harmful constructs and work towards more equitable system. This is very important. Ultimately, acknowledging the power of social construct can empower individuals and communities to redefine and reshape their realities. Thank you so much. These are some of the references for today's lecture. Once again, thank you.